by the way, we had done bits of work before this tech studio came on. We had cleared it a lot more than what it is. But we looked at that room and thought, right, that's the place where we want to create a Tech for Studio. And so the business that did the work for us pretty much showed us a before and after, before, during, and after pictures of what it is now in that sense. And the bricks and clicks came about of saying, okay, how then, when we reopened Croydon Vision in July, we wanted to make sure our members come in and enjoy themselves, but we also wanted to continue to provide services virtually, which is never going to change now. In the midst of this whole chaos, we feel like this is an area that we want to continue to learn and develop in. And in that process, while we were doing these very amateur videos, this is where we got approached by Big Lottery. And they're like, we're seeing what you're doing, how can we help? And I put in a proposal for an application. We wanted an engagement. Well, it all evolved as we went along. We knew we wanted someone to go out and do more training to help Catherine here. And so we got someone who came in to do that service. And we, as we went along, we realized we need an engagement and well-being officer who is pretty much the bricks and clicks, someone who coordinates the click service, which is the virtual services, but at the same time also supports our members, which is the bricks, face-to-face. And so this is pretty much what we've done. My colleagues are going to talk. So Catherine's going to talk about the how did we do it? And then Natasha will talk about the what we do. And after that, we will do some what we learned, lessons learned, and still learning from the process, followed by your questions. Yeah, Catherine.
Okay, so Susan has already mentioned how we really started, which was sitting around a table going, we have to launch our strategic plan. How are we going to do it? And as we've mentioned in the video with Susan, we started with a mobile phone and a tripod. That's all you need. If you have a mobile phone that does video and you have a tripod, you can do Facebook Live and a Facebook account. We've got lots of stuff that we've learned along the way that sort of goes into the hows. You can set up your live stream that only you can see it. That's the first thing that I did once I figured out how to do a live stream. So I could work out all the nitty-gritty of how it all works. Because we didn't know either when we started. We were winging it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd say is when you're doing Facebook Live, make sure you've got a charity page and you're not running it from your own personal Facebook page. And that everyone from the charity who's logging in also logs in from a charity one, because we had lots of members who went, oh, I know you, and sent friend requests. And then you're like, oh, can't accept from a personal one, but I've got this work one, you can have that friend request. We found after that first running it from a mobile phone, it's better to run it from a computer, because you've got lots more things you can do to make sure that you can have start screens, different cameras, audios, you can mute yourself, which we'll get into later, because we've had some wonderful problems with muting. And the software we use is called OBS, which is a free one. There are plenty of other ones available, but it's the one I found and I figured out how to use. We also said that we need to publicise it however you can. We sent it out in our newsletter, on our Talking News, on our Facebook, on our Twitter. We were just, any person who was talking to a member mentioned Facebook Live. And then you find out if any members need assistance on how to get onto it as well. So it was that two-way feedback. Then comes the making it better from that first time you've done it. So we start off with the mobile phone, which has a great camera. We moved on to the computer, which doesn't have as good a camera. This was at the beginning of lockdown when you couldn't get a webcam for love or money. So I got an okay webcam, and we've now got a really good video camera, which gives us a much better video. It means if we had fluorescent lights, which we don't because we're in the tech studio, you don't have the funny shading that you have with fluorescent lights. But the other thing is people will put up with poorer quality video than they will audio. So get the audio right, as we all do, knowing about visual impairment, and then we'll focus on your video. And there are lots of filters you can run to get rid of background noise, which we've learned about as well. And if you're doing something and you've got an external visitor or you've got someone else in, we found it's really good to have a couple of questions you've prepared first to sort of pave the way, because it's always awkward waiting for that first question to come in, especially as there is at least a 10, if not a 20-second gap in between you asking the question and it actually being sent all the way to the person at the other end. So we just have a couple of prepared questions that pave the way, and then we find the questions come in really nicely. And that was how we started and how we're going on. And we get to this room with the green screen that we're using today, which is very exciting. We've got some learnings on that later.
Thank you, Catherine. And over to Natasha.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm going to be talking about the what. So what have we done? And I can only advise before you get started with anything, think about what. So we put 7 pillars together, 7 exciting pillars to focus our virtual services on, both bricks and clicks as well. And towards the left-hand side of the screen, we've got a list of our 7 pillars with some information about those pillars. And towards the right-hand side of the screen, we've got little icons kind of representing those pillars. So a head, for example, representing a skull and thinking. We've got an image of an eye. We've got the eye symbol inside a circle representing information. We've also got tech gadgets as well, and a little person to the bottom left of the screen doing a bit of exercise, which also touches upon one of our pillars. And another one is an image of a play button. In the middle, next to that play button, we've got a quiz. And to the left-hand side of that button, we've also got a book, an open book. So I'm going to go through the pillars, and those are the images representing those pillars. So starting with technology, what have we done with technology? So we wanted to teach new skills to our members, phone, laptop, all those tech-savvy skills that Catherine loves to talk about. And it's still a learning curve for all of us, but technology is a thing that's really moving in the current environment that we're living in, and it's important that we teach that to our members. They're always learning, always asking questions, and we felt it's an important skill to teach. As we move further down technology, the second pillar, we have independent living. So that involves cooking, doing various things like traveling and workshops to enhance different areas of independent living, not to have a specific focus, but to draw it upon many different aspects and be holistic in that approach as well. Underneath that, we have the third pillar, which is eye health. We've contacted Moorfields and done some workshops with them. We've had some of our own volunteers talk about eye health and specific eye conditions such as glaucoma or macula, and just spreading that awareness of how to look after your eyes at all times of the year. Moving down to the fourth pillar now, we've got Get Creative. This is involving art, creative workshops, writing. We've had one of our own volunteers and members involved in our Facebook videos and making creative bits of paper and card, and even I got a bit involved in one of them as well. And it was different, but you know, we want to be all hands-on with our workshops. It creates a level of community engagement and of course inclusivity as well. Moving down to the fifth pillar, physical activities. I guess during lockdown, we all know we were in the house quite a lot. So we wanted to increase your health, our members' health and well-being by doing physical activities, by connecting to other stakeholders and partners who have dance and fitness schedules or routines or organisations that do fitness. And we wanted to bring them on board and deliver that to our members, our service users and the wider public as well. And then moving on to the sixth pillar, information advice or advice and advocacy now, what it is, helping members with their route to employment or benefits or finances. We understand that the times we were in have been difficult and a lot of individuals have been affected because of that. So we thought, right, let's involve this in one of our pillars. How can we support our members during this time with documentation, with applications, you know, and really help the best way we can. And that leads on to the last pillar, which is entertainment. We want to be happy during this time. Entertainment, how can we shift the mind, the mentality of what was happening at that time. How can we bring happiness home? How can we make that engagement ongoing? And we didn't just involve our members or volunteers, we involved staff, we had that community engagement, we involved partnerships and stakeholders. We really made the sessions inclusive, and that led to what we'll be doing, and that will lead to what I'll be going to do. And that involves enhancing our videos, working smarter together, increasing that engagement, getting feedback. And it's worked for us. It really has worked for us. And I do advise you to think about that what. What is it that you're trying to gain from what you're doing? Think about pillars, think about key things that can help meet a need or an outcome and deliver the services that you're trying to deliver. But there's still a lot more work to be done, and we still have lessons to be learned. And that leads back on to Catherine going through some of those lessons in terms of how we can better that engagement.
Yeah, no, thank you. And just to kind of add to that also, it's the fact that when you think about the members as well, your members, what would they like to have? And so these pillars were built through members' feedback. And as we did some of the sessions, we saw what worked and what didn't work. So to set the pillars, it was sort of trial and error at the beginning. And for us, these are what works. You might have different, you might not have the facility for cookery. So if that doesn't work for you, but whatever you think might work, starts from there in that sense. One other thing also was the fact that we had less than, I think, 300 people on our Facebook. And since then, we've seen over 100 followers, new followers in that process. And there's still more to be done. And this leads us to the lesson learned. Catherine,
Well, I think I'm going to start off by ending from Natasha. I think a lot of the entertainment was had from me talking to a camera and then getting a message saying, "You're on mute."
Yes.
I've done a lot of presenting to a muted camera and then bringing it back. If anything goes wrong, it's a point further down. If anything goes wrong, roll with it.
Yes,
Don't worry about it. Make a joke. Say, I had a brilliant introduction. I don't think I'll do as well this time. So I mentioned it before, video quality. If you're screen sharing, there are ways to make it look better. And we learned that through trial and error. The first time we shared a screen on Zoom, it was really pixelated because we didn't know how to do it better. We've now learned a way of doing it better, and it is a much higher quality. Checking your background. So we had our green screen out for the first time last week. We were really excited about it. I put up a background, I checked it out on my screen, I checked it out on the phone, it looked really good. We went live and saw it on a computer and went, oh.
Yes.
So we are still learning. We don't know our background, it needs to be a high quality so that it will really work well on the green screen. I've already touched on the next one. Make sure there's someone in the building watching and you've got your phone nearby for technical issues, as in like forgetting to unmute, or the fact that you can hear the next door room having a conversation so that you can nicely deal with them when they crop up. As I said, something goes wrong, roll with it. Do a quick rehearsal. So whether that be of specifically of the technology, but also of what you're going to be doing. So you've got an idea of vaguely where it's going. So you're not blindsided by something that happens. As I said, better cameras lead to better images. When you've got a background that's your natural room, try and make it as less fussy as possible. So in one of our images, which we did up down in the coffee lounge, we've got the urn, we've got mugs, we've got the bin. I've managed to cut off the top of someone's head, which was deliberate in this one because it was for the craft, so you need to see their hands. And that's where having multiple cameras will help, because you can point something down at someone's hands whilst you can also see their face.
Yeah.
But that's what we've learned as we've gone along.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And the last one, one more
sorry.
thing,
Go ahead.
is get feedback, which is honest from people who are watching it, to help you improve. Not that really nice thing that we all do, oh, it went really well, but get the honest feedback, because that's the only way you're going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Sorry,
out there, then that's good. Thank you, Catherine. And that's sort of, my screen's gone more. Well, actually, I'm gonna leave that. That's how subsequent Merry Christmas seems too early, but yes. But anyway, we're going to sort of take questions. And you know what? One feedback of the studio, let's get a clock in here. Yes. There you go, another feedback.
I shall make a note.
Yes, yeah, but I'm gonna stop sharing screen and then we're gonna take questions. Yeah, there you go, time-wise, because we wanted this to make sure that you have a lot of time to ask questions. That's what it's about. So, yes, questions and any comments or things that you feel that we can talk about from here. We're all yours.
Got a question.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Aoife. I'm a habilitation specialist up in Glasgow. Really excited for you guys. It sounds amazing. It's really positive way of going forward. I've been delivering some sessions via Zoom, so it's all been very interesting, but I've never been brave enough to do things live in terms of ILS. So I'm really interested to find out more about, you kind of mentioned you did a section on ILS, kind of looking at food. Can you give me a wee bit of an example or tell me a wee bit more about it, because it sounds really exciting.
What on food and eye health?
Independent living skills.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I think one of the things we actually, when we went to Big Lottery about this application is we said to them that there's a lot of videos out there, you know, in terms of what people can access. The difference was there isn't a lot that is audio described. So in terms of like the cookery, how do we make sure that a member who is visually impaired can follow through and be able to cook for themselves at home? And Catherine here was a key part to that. She describes everything in such a way that I was learning as well. So do you want to talk more about that?
So yeah, we decided we wanted to cook. We started off by doing cupcakes because we thought, we know how to make cupcakes, we can probably audio describe that, and I do quite a lot of baking, so I can pop some things in. It's really helpful, we found, that if the person audio describing knows a bit about what the cooking is, because you can put in different bits of information. So I was always taught to listen to my cakes to tell if they were cooked or not, and if they're still sizzling, they're not cooked, instead of putting a skewer in. It's a different thing I was told, so I could feed that on as well. And it's just, with the cooking ones, I sat down with Aisha, our cook, we had a discussion about what we're going to do. Quite often there'll be a practice run. So we get lots of food here to try out. We had flapjacks yesterday. And then it's just sort of asking things like, how does that feel when you're stirring it? Is there a difference in the texture? And trying to get as much information out of her to feed back to members. We also have some really good members who will ask the questions as well. So it's not relying purely on the person describing. It's getting the feedback from people as well.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic, because at the moment I'm trying to record videos where I'm trying to do a mixture of both. So I'm trying to do the audio description, and almost essentially it's like I'm trying to deliver a lesson, whereas I'm not really, because obviously you need someone with you for that. But it's really interesting to think about having other people engaging. So how did you do that? You said, like, so was there two of you in the room, socially distanced, and then you had the...
Sorry, yeah, we're really lucky we've got a hatch into our kitchen. So we could set up all the technical equipment outside of the hatch and have Aisha, the cook, in the kitchen preparing all the food with me outside. So that we've got that just worked for the setup.
Yeah.
We couldn't have planned it any better.
And then we had Natasha here, who in terms of the organizing of the eye health, in terms of opticians or optometrists that we have in the community, and in terms of like what were the questions that members were asking and how that fits then. Do you want to talk a bit about
Yeah,
what
so
you did?
an example recently was the Eye Health Week in September. So just contacting those within the eye health sector. We had one of our volunteers actually who works at Moorfields, and just kind of having a discussion with this Eye Health Week. There's probably quite a lot of questions that members have. You know, could you prepare a little subject about health, looking after your eyes, for example, and just key areas of what members should be aware of. Bearing in mind that this is the year where a lot of members have missed out on their appointments. Can you factor in anything they can do in the interim while waiting for appointments? So it's really planning in advance and communicating with those who are within the health sector to come and speak to the members and support them on their journey of eye health and provide the level of support that's available.
Yeah, and it might sound all like, oh, that's a lot of work going on, but this was factored in with other things that we were doing. So we were providing outreach services and everything else that was going during the lockdown period and still now. So it's more kind of just the pre-planning and fitting it into an hour here, an hour there in what you're doing, which it can be stretching sometimes. Definitely, my team here can vouch for that. But I love the fact that they continue to grow and be challenged, and as they grow, members are growing, and it's a win-win in a sense. So the starting point, you might be stretched a bit in terms of, and I'm being real, in terms of getting it all going. But once you're there, the systems are in place, then that's where you could look as well in terms of resource, which funder could help and support to bring more people in, or to help more with resources that could make it better in a sense, could make the work lighter or more smarter way of working. Yeah.
No, that's great. I really appreciate that answer. Thank you, and good luck with the rest of it. Sounds like you're doing a fab job there.
Thank you, and I hope I hear more from you in terms of what you're doing. Yeah. Right.
I have some questions.
Yeah, I think there's some questions on the chart. Ines, would you want to say some of the questions that are on the chart, please? On the chat, please. You're on mute. Ha! There you go.
Yes. Just one of Nathan Tree saying, how many people do we generally get on a live session, and any idea of the age ranges that we cover? And also, how are we tackling engaging all the members who may not traditionally be using Facebook?
Yeah, very good questions. So in terms of the number, we've noticed that the amount of attendees we got on the live events are quite low. It ranges between 15 to 20 people.
I think 26.
Yeah. But what then happens, the replay is where we see a lot. So we would do the video on Thursday, and then come back Monday, and there was over 500 views of the video. And we're like, whoa, what? What happened? And so we've noticed so what we have done is the live event will happen on Facebook, and then the replay after a day, it will be brought down from Facebook, and it will go onto our C Hub, which is our Support, Enable and Empower Hub, which is on our website. And that's where replays will take effect. Now, to make sure that we include as many people, a lot of the people who come to our Facebook are more working age, I would say, as well as over 65. There's 80-year-olds who are on Facebook commenting onto us, which is amazing to see. And what we do is, like Catherine said earlier, we put it in our newsletter and Talking News, that if you need support to get onto Facebook, we will go to your home and support you. So that's where Catherine and Ola, who is the IT facilitator, they will go into your home and support you. And maybe on the day you need a little bit of technical support, there will be someone who is available when a member calls. And to make it as inclusive as possible, we also will do segments of the Facebook Live sometimes on audio, which will go onto our Talking News, which is the USB stick. I'm sure you all know about the Talking News in that sense. So we do segments of it, not always, but we do segments of it. For instance, when we launched our strategy, we did the audio recording and sent that to other members who Facebook Live is not. We used Facebook because it was the most accessible, isn't it?
We used Facebook because we could use it that day.
Yeah, in terms of accessibility as well for people with sight loss, I think it's one of the most accessible softwares or what do we call platform? That's the right word, platforms, yeah. So does that answer the question?
I hope so. I think Nathan Tree, who asked this question, if it doesn't, please send me a note. I'm also trying to cover the question from Stella Pitt, who's asking, how do you upskill members to use the technology? So Stella, we mentioned that Catherine and Ola go to the members' homes and train them up in terms of the use of technology. So they would personalize the sessions depending on their needs. But if you have further follow-up questions, please send me a note. There's another very interesting question that may sound a little slightly simple, but I think it's important. Odette is asking us, do you find there's different colors for clothes that we can wear or not wear? I mean, in essence, what can we wear and what do we wear when we are filmed? And I think this is important because some people may forget that. So maybe guys, you can comment on that.
Okay, you mean, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. It's your sound, your audio it's a little bit hard to hear.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
so it's about tips and advice on what to wear.
Sarah, if you want to join in as well to ask questions, that'll be fine as well, yeah?
So the question was what to wear on Facebook. We learned very early on, stripes don't work on camera because it's very, very off-putting. Now we've got the green screen, we'd also have an idea of probably not wearing green because we disappear like Natasha's chair does if you stand up. And that's another learning. Don't get a green chair to the studio and have a green screen behind you. But in general, we try and wear something that has enough contrast with whatever background we're going to put up. So when we've done fitness things down in the hall, which has fairly light background, it's bright colours. And we say that's when we've had a couple of dance people on, they've asked what colour, and I've always said the highest contrast you can get with your background.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Right, questions. Oh, it's really good to see so many of you. I know that I can see colleagues of mine that I know and those who I don't, so which is good, it's brilliant. Thank you guys. Right, Sarah, do you want to ask any questions or anything?
Yes, I mean, you've covered it a bit, but I think people would like a bit more detail on what you learned in terms of ensuring good sound quality.
That was me again. So when we first started, a lot of our members said there's a really big fuzz on the back of our audio.
Yes.
We had this for quite a while until we worked it out, and the way we had to do that was we had to put a filter in our OBS software, which basically cuts out all that background noise. The other thing we found is if you know that there's going to be some sound, so for instance, we know our vehicles come back at about 4:30 when our Facebook Live sessions are going to happen, we remind the drivers on their way out to turn the reversing noises off.
Yes.
Every sound we can control, we do. And then I just apologise for all the sirens that are happening today, because you can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
The other thing, we have got lapel microphones, so unfortunately couldn't use them with this computer today, but we will be using them going forwards. So there'll be much higher audio quality in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's where the fun parts of it come. I mean, I think I was doing Facebook Live one day and there was sirens, and I was like, yeah, guys, they're not coming for us, you know. And it was just like, you know, take a chill pill. it's that element, but that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have a studio. So now being in here, it has proofings as well. And the window still yet not changed yet, but working towards changing the window. So then it's really, yeah, you don't get all that, because we were doing it by the roadside. The Weasel Center is by the roadside, so you hear all the sirens and the bus. I think if you even watch the video with Catherine at the Weasel Center, there's a red bus, London bus passing by, and I'm like, yeah, typical Croydon. But so that's. You know, I think we're trying to get the sound better, and the more you do, the more you learn in that sense. Yeah.
On that, Susanna, I mean, lots of people are saying thank you. This is such a great session. But Nick's asked, and I think it is interesting, what feedback you've had from your members and how you use that to keep improving. And yeah, given you started this in March, as you said, completely winging it and having those problems, that have you noticed the feedback change from people that were trying to join things in March versus now? And then, yeah, how are you using things coming in now to continue improving?
Yeah, I think it's been brilliant. It's been like a tool. So for instance, last week we were doing a session, Natasha and Odette were organizing a session of Fit and Fab. And someone contacted us through Facebook Live and said, I'm trying to get on the Fit and Fab session. You know, so it's kind of been a tool where now it's like an open communication with our members. We're seeing not the same regular people, just the same people that were coming on, but more people. We had someone who's asking about low vision clinic. That, oh, I saw your video and I'm trying to find out, is there low vision clinic happening? So it's kind of has created this platform for other discussion and other services that we provide. We continue to ask our members, you know, what's your thoughts on it? One of the things that I had a session with my management team today is how we build more on the reflective practice, you know, to make sure that we continue to learn, and we ask members as well their feedback. So things like polls, which we're going to start to do that, you know, things like how was last week's session? What did you learn from it? So probing questions, that it's not just becomes a chat place, but it's more meaningful and intentional. So then we have obviously KPIs and measures that we need to make sure we achieve through this project. And so it's getting the officers to be aware. So everyone is on board in that sense of what's the common goal and achievement we want for this. It's entertaining our members, it's engaging with them, it's transforming their lives. So if we know that, then everything else then starts to align with that. Yeah? Hi, Nick.
Thank you. Someone's just asked a specific question, which is what type of microphone do you use?
Catherine will answer that question.
So at the moment, we are using the built-in microphone in our Panasonic camera, but I've got them sitting on the floor because we're going to have a play with them today. We've just bought, I'm going to get them out so I get the right make, Rode clip-on wireless lapel microphones, which I had a play with. The sound quality is amazing. I just need to figure out how it all works together. Because if you can see behind the scenes, we've got half a dozen leads connecting things at the moment to make it all work.
Yeah, I just press the card. That's all I do. That's all I do. But yeah, she comes up with this. Oh, over the weekend I was learning how to do this, and I think we need to get this gadget. I'm like, okay, right. If it's in the budget, let's go for it. If it's not, let's put it as a wish list for now. Yeah. And Natalia, who is watching, actually, our finance officer, she will, check in if it's all going along with the finance. But yeah, so that's kind of, yeah, I think most of the gadgets were still, it's pretty much, we didn't get everything together in one go, guys. And that's what I really hope that will encourage you to say, we did not wake up 1st of April and thought, yeah, we have this, and now we can do Facebook Live. We just went for it, and our members, they forgave us. There was a lot of forgiving, sound not working right, and things not working the way it should, and they were just like, okay, we know you're trying, and and we got better, and we are continuing to improve and getting better with it.
I think at the moment every week is, we're trying this new thing. Yes. Bear with us for a little bit.
Yes, yeah. So that's kind of, I think there was one when we had the new camera, and the shape of it was just like,
yeah, so the webcam we got has got a fisheye lens, so the edge is a bit all curved. But we've moved past that to one that doesn't, and it's just learning as you go.
It is, and I am so proud of my team. They are doing an amazing work, and just to see how much they're growing from, I don't want to be on camera, to why are we doing this? Can we look at can we let that be the focus? And, really good to see how far we've all come through. Yeah.
Moving seamlessly on from that, Suzanette, someone has actually asked, because they've said most of their staff are really shy, staff and members are shy about talking on camera. So what advice you'd give to someone to overcome that?
Yeah, so I'll go with Catherine, who is my dear techie person. She's very techie, so she loves all the background, being background and organizing everything. But then being on camera, she just goes like, oh, what am I doing? And so it was doing sessions we had to say, okay, why are we doing this? What's the reason we're doing it? And if those reasons start to amplify and the passion for reaching our members, supporting them, and transforming their lives. Once you start to think more on that, the me on camera starts to diminish. It doesn't happen in one day.
No. I'm still petrified every time I have a camera in front of me, but I keep going. I think that's just the point, it's keep going.
Yes, and to me, I think the one was when we did our AGM, we did a Bricks and Clicks AGM, so some members in and some on Zoom, and everyone else on Zoom. And I said, Catherine, how you doing? And she went like, yeah, I know the why I'm doing it, so we're going. And I was like, okay, brilliant. Don't have to say anything anymore about that. So yes, that's kind of the reason. It's not every day. It won't happen in one day, but keep going and get feedback as well. And when you get feedback, use it to grow and learn from it. Don't let it become a deterrent, or thinking, oh, that means I can't do it. You can. We all will learn. I don't think BBC woke up one morning and became what it is. It grew. Not that we're anywhere near BBC, but just saying, yeah, right.
Just another question, Susanette. Someone asking how often you do sessions and are they weekly? And also, have you noticed that there's certain times of the day that work better, either for getting people attending or also the technology working better?
Yeah, I'll let Natasha, you take that.
So sessions are weekly. We do our sessions Thursday in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. When we first started, we did it. Was it 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
It was 1 o'clock, and it was very impactful. We had a lot of attendees, but bear in mind, during that time, everyone was working from home, so we thought, right, this is the perfect hour. This is good entertainment time. Now we ask the audience really, what's the best time for these videos? Let us know and we'll adjust our times. It's still working. We do have fewer views, let's say, compared to when we first started sometimes. Live views, I mean, but when we look back on the videos, they double, they triple in numbers. So in terms of those live views, sometimes it does fluctuate depending on the time and who's available around that time. But I do say afterwards, when we reflect on those videos, it doubles and triples because everyone can always tap in at any time of the day.
Yeah, so it's the replay, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, especially my colleagues who those who are sort of outside of London, is how maybe collaborating with other site losses of saying, what do we do well, what do the others do well, and how we can work. And we found that people were just so willing to give their time. Morpheals, optometrists, none of them got paid for any of this. We just said, right, would you like to come an hour on our Facebook and schedule them in advance? DWP, various different places. Last week we had life coaching. So a lot of that we don't pay for nothing of that. It's just people wanting to give of their time, and I'm sure it helps their development as well. But yes, the replay tends to be where we see the numbers really peak. Well, not peak really, just continue. We just see more people watching the videos and then commenting or asking questions. So we have Daniel who will follow up on questions that are asked on Facebook as well. Yeah.
And then with technology, we haven't necessarily found that it hasn't. We had Wi-Fi issues that are now sorted. So our issue wasn't times of day, it was Wi-Fi. We could have it in certain rooms in the building, but if we wanted to have it from up here in the tech studio, not a chance. Up until the very last cooking, we were still using a mobile phone for doing the cooking sessions because the mobile data was better in the hall than our Wi-Fi, but that's all solved technology-wise.
Yeah, Wi-Fi was a big thing, guys. Like seriously, I mean, you would see the video going before, and I was like, okay, we need to sort out Wi-Fi here. And finally, few weeks ago, hats off to our facilities officer, Ajay, who came in and opened the door, and someone came in and did our whole Wi-Fi. Router was dying.
Yeah.
And now it works, so yes.
Okay, another quite specific question, but it is an interesting one, I think, which is, do you do a risk assessment for your virtual events?
So when we were putting together the event and through the process, we looked at what could be factors of risk. So for instance, when we're doing cookery, the introduction will be more about the oven, things like that, you know, things that could be harmful. With the reason why we're uploading videos now to go to our C-Hub is reasoning of that, because Facebook is very open, so anyone can attend the Facebook event, but to make sure that we look at the kind of events and things that we're doing and whether there's any risks attached to it and what might those risks be, any safeguarding issues and what that might be. So we do take that into consideration when we're doing events. There's not much risk that we've seen apart from, you know, apart from also if someone was to come on and make comments that are inappropriate, we have someone on comment and that will be quickly managed and deleted. So we do look at what could and potentially be the elements. We have a Children in Need partnership where they gave us a fantastic template for virtual services and what to look for, which we use when we do things. Yeah.
There's still another question.
Yes.
You've covered it a bit, but just know if any of the, in terms of engaging with your older members, but were there any older members that are just sort of point blank, I'm not doing that, I don't want to do it using the technology? And how did you overcome it?
So that's why we have bricks and clicks, guys. You know, bricks is bricks and clicks is clicks, and there are people who merge the two and have it. So there are members who we know that this is not their thing, it's not for them. And there are those who it is, and there's some who it's just because it's understanding why, again, you know, could it be that they just categorically doesn't want to do it, or is it because that they don't understand technology and may need help? So if we understand the why, then you can be able to see through the list and say, okay, that's where these individuals are, and here might be talking news, might be what's best for them, and talking audio, and there are those who are keen on it and want to learn, and then we focus on that. So it's not trying to get everyone to come into your session, it's putting it out there and seeing what the needs are and who is best to come in.
And I'll say to follow on for that, it's been adaptable, bricks and clicks. We've got newsletter, we've got the talking news, we have our operations here, so it's just trying to reach everyone the best way we can. And if someone doesn't want to go on Facebook or learn about technology, find out the why and see, okay, how else can we filter the information to you? How else can we include you?
Yeah.
So it's having those different platforms as well.
And just to make all three of us popping in, we also, when we first went to fully virtual services, we set up telephone conferences for all of our groups to continue to run. So that's that sort of midway point. So most of our members are capable of accessing the telephone conferences.
Yeah, I think it's fundamentally was about reaching everyone, whether that is through bricks or clicks, is that making sure that our database, are we reaching and meeting their needs, and whatever that means for them and however that is, we're fine with it. It doesn't have to be Facebook Live, it could be telephone conference call, it could be face-to-face, it could be through Facebook, whichever way works, as long as we can meet their needs, which we all hear, that's our desire and passion, is to meet our members' needs. Yeah. Sarah, would you like to, could you put the poll up, just mindful of time, and then obviously if any questions.
Yeah, so we're trying out a poll. If it's not accessible to you, just shout at us. But it'd be interesting to see how it works. So I'm just going to launch that for everybody. So if you could let us know what you think. I mean, from my perspective and Visionary's perspective, Susanette, thank you so much for doing this. It's just lots of the comments about your enthusiasm. It is just amazing. I think one of the amazing things is seeing three people together. Time that just seems alien to me. Even doing the conference and things, you know, we're so used to one face in the screen, so it's so nice to see three three faces and that you're all clearly such a lovely team. So
Thank you. And there's a lot
so
of
much.
there's a lot of others in the background as well, you know, which, like I said, I'm really proud of my team and absolutely love what they're doing and how far we've come with this. And it's it's been a journey, definitely, but you know, it's good. And also having my colleagues externally where we all can just have a brainstorm and talk about what is going on. You know, so it's been hopefully this has helped you one way or the other. And it's just really saying start something, you know, whatever that means for you, what maybe it might be that you need to collaborate with others, just start something, you know, if you think it's the right thing for your organization, hope you can start something. If there's any support or help that we can give, please reach out to us. We will be able, we'll gladly help where we can.
Yeah, and yeah, Croydon Vision's email address is in the box, so that's very kind of you to agree to be contacted as well, Susanette. But
thank you.
So, are there any final questions? We've got a couple of minutes while people are.
Yeah.
Paul, any final questions? Feel free to speak, or someone's asked whether you also run sessions on Teams, or is it all?
So I think I'll answer this one. I decided we would go with one platform rather than multiple platforms. Just for the ease of, if you have got some members who are less technologically able, you can probably teach one platform, but teaching multiple is more difficult. We don't tend to do live video too much. I know Fit and Fab is run over Zoom, but most of ours are either telephone conference or Facebook Live events. Where we use Zoom in Facebook Live is that the person Zooms with us, Croydon Vision, and then we share that screen on Facebook Live.
Yeah. And I think also it's when you're looking to do something like this, use your team's strengths. You know, you can tell every time you start to have a technology question, I go there. You know, every time it's something to do with operational services, I'm like, Natasha there. You know, I know where my strengths are, and it's bringing a team together and saying, okay, how best can we all work together? Who's best at doing what? And give them that rein and let them go with it. You know, they will make mistakes, yes. One of our things here is test, fail, learn, grow, hey, move on, you know, part of life in that sense. Yeah.
Thank you. Just I hope you can see these comments, Susanette, but people just saying, and actually from seeing the feedback on the poll pop up, the vast majority of people have either said, I can do this or I will do this. I think you will have inspired a lot of people to just give it a go. So thank you.
Yes, please do. And when you do, share it with us, because, you know, our members may want to watch your shows and we could learn from you. How about that? Isn't it? And, you know, in that sense. So, yeah, do share. And, you know, if you have time, visit the C Hub on our website. Ines, if you can put the link up, please. Yeah. And then we've only just started to upload the videos from Facebook into the C Hub. So, but what we're doing is categorizing them in what Natasha was talking about earlier, the 7 pillars. So if you have time and you want to see what that looks like, that got built in for us as well, which got launched 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Or so, yeah, in a sense. So currently the team is editing the videos from Facebook so that they can be uploaded on C Hub. I could not imagine me saying all this from March, like the languages even, but hey, just to show how much we are learning. But thank you. I'm so pleased that we're in time.
Yes, it's perfect. Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you. We will let everyone go, and any questions via email, either to Visionary or directly to Susanette. So their website address is up there now, the email address is up there. So just let us know if we can help anymore, and good luck being inspired by Susanette and the amazing team. Thank you, everyone.
But thank you, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you for organizing this in your time. And each and every one of you, you know, thank you for your time. And hopefully, I can, will do. Amen. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wave your hand.